Imagine, if you will, planning a romantic Valentine's getaway with your significant other. My Valentine's Day Stalker. My wife Christine and I go to our cabin in the woods every year for Valentine's Day weekend. We done this for the past 13 years. It's a beautiful property near the natural springs in Florida. It takes about 10 hours to get there from North Carolina. You have to drive down a dirt road, through a canopy of Spanish moss-covered trees, palmettos, and a smattering of palm trees to get there. It's quiet, secluded, and, well, just a little slice of heaven. This year, like every year, we left Friday right after work and got there after midnight. When we arrived, something was different. The front door was open. I know we locked it when we left the last time we were here. The door has a doorknob lock and a deadbolt. I always lock them both. I told Christine to wait here while I checked the perimeter. I slowly crept around the outside of the cabin. All the windows were still locked, and no other door was unlocked. The front door was not forced open. The wood on the door frame was undamaged. I thought they had to have picked the lock. Since I was a former Special Forces operator, I hand signaled Christine to wait outside while I sweep the cabin first. She's trained on how to use a gun, and we've been to the range many times together. She's an impressively good shot. I keep a locked and loaded .380 in the truck just for such an emergency. So I wasn't that terribly worried about her. I pulled my Colt M1911 from my holster, jacked the shell in, got in a tactical stance, and approached the cabin door. Once I got to the door, I looked through the semi-transparent curtains on the porch. Everything seemed normal. Nothing broken, no drawers left open, except something was on the kitchen counter. I couldn't see what it was from here. I'll look into that after I make sure there's no assholes here. I slowly pushed the door open with my foot while looking down the barrel of my gun. I cautiously checked all rooms, bathrooms, closets, under the bed, and the attic. I was being as quiet as I could with my jungle boots on the wood floor. The house was clear. I signaled for Christine to come in. While she was gathering things from the truck to bring in, I went back to see what was on the kitchen counter. It was a Valentine's Day card. My first thought was, oh, it's a surprise from Christine. It looked like a typical Valentine's Day card. The outside had a picture of a cartoon dog that said, "This year for Valentine's Day." When I opened it up, it was covered in a dark red fluid that was still a little wet. It looked like blood. Being a Gulf War vet, I seen my share of blood, and I know what it looks like. I could read the inside of the card through the blood. It said, "I'm gonna give you an experience you never expected." A lump formed in my throat as I tucked the card in my back pocket and started helping Christine with unloading the truck. After getting everything out of the truck and in the correct rooms, we started getting ready for bed. It was getting pretty late at this point. As I was taking my pants off, she noticed the card sticking out of my back pocket. "What's this?" she said as she simultaneously grabbed the card from my pocket. Before I could grab it back, she had already read the front and opened the card. She screamed and dropped the card as she saw the blood. "What the fuck, Joe? Is this some sort of sick fucking joke?" she said. "I found it on the kitchen counter when we got here," I sternly replied. "Why didn't you tell me?" she asked. "I wanted you to be able to get some sleep tonight after the long drive. I was going to tell you about it in the morning," I answered. After some reassuring, soothing words, physical consoling, and several drinks later, we went to sleep. I felt like I slept with one eye open all night. Damn military experience. The next morning, she got up before I did and started making breakfast. Nothing beats the smell of bacon in the morning. I grabbed a cup of coffee and headed out to the porch to chill. It's Saturday, February 14th, Valentine's Day, in Florida. I couldn't believe it was already 70 degrees at 10 a.m. in February. Well, I guess that's Florida for you. We had a nice breakfast and watched some TV. After a while, she realized we needed some things from the grocery store. I gave her the keys and said, "Just get what we need for the next couple of days." She protested, "I'm not fucking going alone, not after that bullshit you found." So, I locked the door and we went to Aldi. It was a 30-minute drive to the store. We grabbed some food and a 30-minute drive back. When we got back, I was apprehensive that something would be fucked up. Unfortunately, I was right. Inside the steel-locked house, in the bedroom, propped up on the bed, was one of them huge Valentine's Day teddy bears holding a heart that said, "Be my Valentine." Only the teddy bear's head was ripped off and missing. Stuffing was spread round the bed haphazardly, and bloodstains were spattered around its neck. "Motherfucker!" I exclaimed. I was fucking pissed. I grabbed the headless teddy bear, dragged it through the cabin, stomped through the front door, and threw the bear in the front yard. I pulled my gun and fired it 5 times, cussing between each shot. "You motherfucker! I'll fucking send you to hell! You hear me? You cocksucker!" The cabin was way off in the woods, so there's no neighbors for miles. This son of a bitch must have a key, I thought. What the fuck? Now I was on high alert. Whoever it is has to be watching us from the woods to have done this. This is not turning out to be the romantic getaway I had planned. Of course, my short temper wasn't helping Christine's demeanor none either. "I think you killed it, Joe," she said scoffingly. "Why don't you come in and have a little Makers to calm down?" I scanned the woods for a few minutes, looking for any movement. It was very quiet and still. I think my shooting scared the wildlife into silence. Christine came out with a half-full glass of bourbon. I thanked her and started gulping the sweet nectar. "Easy, Rambo," she said. "I need you to be rational and sharp." I was still furious, but starting to chill out a little. I sat on the front porch, my gun in hand, sipping my drink for a few hours. As it got dark, I decided to go inside since, tactically, I couldn't see the trees anymore and I was on a lit-up porch and easily seen. Hours passed as we watched TV and I continued to sip my bourbon. I eventually had one too many and passed out on the couch with my gun in my hand. Christine carefully woke me and walked me back to bed. After I don't know how many hours, Christine woke me excitedly. "I heard something outside," she whispered. Still in my alcohol-induced daze, I clumsily lurched out of bed. "Where?" I asked. "On the porch," she replied. I frantically threw on my boxers and grabbed my gun, a little foggy from being woke from a deep sleep and still kind of drunk. I stumbled to the bedroom door and listened. It was silent. I slowly walked to the front door. Still quiet. I opened the front door and quickly looked in both directions. No one. I looked down and saw one of them little candy hearts on the floor. What the fuck? I thought. I picked it up and noticed it was half covered in blood. It said, "You're mine." That was the last straw. I threw the bloody candy heart into the darkness, and at that point, I kind of lost control. I cocked my Colt, aimed it towards the darkness, and said, "All right, motherfucker, I know you're out there. Why don't you come out and face me like a man, you pussy? I reasoned. I'll even put my gun away and we can handle this like real men. I opened the front door, placed the gun on the couch inside, and closed the door. At this point, Christine come running from the bedroom. "What the fuck's wrong with you?" she exclaimed as I closed the door right before she got there. "Stay the fuck inside," I shouted. Suddenly, something hit me hard from the right side and knocked me down. I looked up from the floor of the porch and saw someone standing over me wearing the head of the teddy bear from the bedroom and holding a huge knife with a bloody rag wrapped around his hand. He raised the knife with both hands and with a muffled voice said, "Happy Valentine's Day," when all of a sudden, splinters of wood were flying everywhere. He dropped to his knees, released the knife, and slumped over like a sack of taters. Christine had shot him through the door. "God damn, that's my girl," I said. "She used the Colt I put on the couch. Unbelievably, she got 3 solid body shots. She's never shot my gun before." With a broad smile, I couldn't have been more prouder. Hastily, I scampered over to the trespasser's body. He was shaking violently from death throes. With a throaty gurgle, his body went limp. I could tell right away he was dead. I quickly cleared my head. I had to see who was under the goddamn teddy bear. I hastily pulled it off and was shocked. It was my brother. "What the fuck?" I shouted. Christine opened the door and saw it was my brother. She dropped the gun and fell to her knees sobbing. I searched him thoroughly. He had a set of keys to the cabin that I'd give to him years ago. I totally forgot about that. And in his pocket, a picture of Christine from before we was married. Imagine, if you will, planning a Valentine's Imagine, if you will, planning a God damn it. Imagine, if you will, planning a Valentine's Day. Oh my God. I can't even get out of the fucking gate.